Have you ever run a Facebook ad campaign and then tried to work out and decide whether or not the campaign worked or whether it's working whilst it's still running? Because it's a really important question, because even when you have professionals running this for you, some ads will work and some ads won't. So how do you work out what's working and what's not? And that's what this video is all about. So I'm going to pull up a diagram here to explain this a little bit better. Because ultimately, in deciding whether or not your Facebook ads are working, it all comes down to one question, which is right at the top here, is what is the cost per membership? Because a lot of people talk about cost per clicks or per leads coming in the door, or all these sort of impressions, engagements, and all these things that don't really matter, right? Because ultimately, the only thing that's going to affect your bottom dollar in terms of what you're spending is what's coming out at the other end in memberships, right? So, quick diagram here just to articulate the step-by-step process that we use in a very simple example of generating memberships with paid advertising. So if we're running Facebook ads, we talk about a Facebook ad here, and what this diagram here is indicating is the ad itself. Now every time somebody clicks on the ad, right, it's going to cost us some money. So every time someone clicks that ad, ideally, we're not sending them to a website, we're sending them to a landing page, and on that landing page, there's only one thing they can do, which is give their information. Now, these are also going to be some numbers that we've seen in our campaigns. So if you've run your own ads and you know your numbers, you can have a look at these numbers and that'll help you decide whether or not you're on the money with your campaigns or whether your costs are much higher, right? So say, for example, every time someone clicks this page and they get to the landing page, it might cost us $1. So $1 here to get somebody to here, right? Now, on that page, we're asking for their information, their name, email, phone number. And if they give us that information, they go through to a booking page. Now, honestly, the vast majority of people will hit a page like this and they won't do anything. They'll just leave, right? So let's be really conservative and say 1 in 10 people, right? So 10% of people actually go through to this bookings page, right? So if we have to pay 10 clicks to get one person through to the booking page, that's right, it's cost us $10 to get one person to this booking page, right? So it's still not a number that really matters to us, but it's $10 to get a booking. And in fact, they haven't even booked. They just got to the booking page, right? So of all the people that arrive on this page, now this is a page where we, if we were running it, have a scheduler set up, so someone can see all the available time slots for a beginner introductory session, for example, or a beginner class. And they can choose the booking time, lock it in, maybe answer 1 or 2 quick questions, and then go through to the next page. So let's say out of every 3 people that get to that booking page, let's say 1 in 3 actually make a booking. Now we see higher numbers, usually more like 1 in 2, but let's say that 1 in 3 actually book in. Therefore, they go into our follow-up sequence where we're sending them automatic SMSs from the coach's mobile phone and also email sequences, right? So say, for example, it has cost, we've had 3 people to get 1 person into this sequence here. Therefore, it's cost us $30 just to get someone to book. They haven't even walked in the gym yet, right? So you've spent $30 and they're now in a sequence where you can talk to them on SMS, email, and a lot of this ideally would be automated. So now, let's say you've got this process fairly well dialed in and conservative again, let's say 50% actually show up. Now we'd like to hit higher rates than that, and that's what this sequence is all about. But let's say hypothetically that it's 1 in 2. So therefore, to get someone to walk in the door from your ad cost us 2 lots of $30, right? So let's call that $60. All right, so $60, someone walks in your gym and that's what you've paid, right? Now I know a lot of gym owners, studio owners, you're used to selling to memberships to people who are ultimately warm leads. So that means they've already, they've pretty much decided they're signing up before they even get there, right? With cold traffic, or what we call curious traffic, the conversions can be a little bit lower. You put the right sales script in there and it goes back up again, right? But let's again be conservative and say instead of 80%, maybe you only sign up 50%, right? So at 50% sign up, again, similar to this, we double it again. So now in terms of what we're looking for here, which is lots of happy members, you've paid $120, which is your cost per membership, right? So in quick summary, we paid $1 to get them to the landing page, we paid $10 to get a booking, we paid $30 to get them into the engagement sequence, and then we paid $60 to get that person into the studio or the gym, and to actually get them to sign the membership and make that commitment to train, to change their life in whatever way you can do that for them, cost you $120. So that's why, that way you can actually see what is the return on your investment. I spent $120 to sign up a membership. Now, if you're selling memberships at $10, $15 a week, that's going to take you 10 weeks just to recoup the cost of that, right? Which is why we talk about context-based memberships, which are often more high-ticket memberships where you're actually doing close to $60, $70 a week. Now, if you're doing $60 to $70 a week, in 2 weeks, you've recouped your advertising cost with that member, right? And so that's a bit more realistic in terms of cash flow to power more ads. Now, the extra thing I want to talk about here in terms of are Facebook ads working is that you need to put some time into Facebook ads, because the other thing that's going on here is that we talked about, well, there's all these people that leave the landing page. These people are all dropping out down here, right? There's all these people that are dropping out of the booking page. They're all dropping down here. There's people here that are dropping out down here. All these people that are basically filtering out and falling through the gaps, and they all end up down here. And what we can do with that, this is not lost money, right? We paid money to get all these people in here. These people are not members, right? But they did express some interest, because the one thing in common is that all these people clicked on this ad, right? In fact, we can even, with more advanced tracking, we can even, with videos, for example, we can even extrapolate the people that watched the ad and didn't do anything, right? So there's a whole heap of people here expressing their interest, but for whatever reason, they didn't make it into the gym. Now, as you continue running these ads and keep putting more and more people through this cycle, this area becomes a lot bigger than actual signed up memberships, and it's not wasted investment. Because these people, we can create another ad here, and this is what we would call a retargeting ad, but it's basically another ad where we say, hey, we saw our ad, we saw you booked in, didn't show up, etc., whatever we want to say, and then we put them back in here. And these clicks, instead of costing $1 to get through, they might only cost 50 cents, right? So then it becomes cheaper again to run them through. So that's why running Facebook ads over time can become more and more powerful, because you start building this broad audience of people who are actually interested in what you're doing. They just didn't make it all the way through to a membership for whatever reason, right? Particularly when we talk about the curious people, which are the majority of our potential in business growth. So hopefully that helps you explain, helps you understand some very simple way to understand if your Facebook ads are working. I'm Matt Phillips. Thanks very much for watching today's video from Fitness Pro Marketing.